Hello everyone, welcome to 5 Pints In, the show that is probably going to be the death of me. 2 guests we've had on so far, and we thought we'd do a little hour, maybe, something like that. Turned into 4-hour drinking sessions, both of them. Well, I suppose it is 5 pints in, isn't it? 5 pints in my arse. Hope you've enjoyed part 1 of the Trevor Morley interview. We've been having a good time, as you well know. Here's part 2. Enjoy.
So, Trev, obviously, when you guys went to West Ham together, you got your first goal against Hull 3 weeks after you 3 weeks after your debut in a 2-1 win. What was it like getting that first goal for West Ham? Any special memories come to mind? Any special feelings?
I have to be honest with you, I can't remember it, and I can't remember that.
No.
I don't want to kill you, but obviously, it's always, as a striker, you need to get that first goal, because the longer it goes, the more pressure mounts. But honestly, I can't remember. The Big said I had a good start at West Ham. I don't remember actually having that great to start at West Ham. But then suddenly I started scoring goals. I think I scored 10 goals in 18 games. Mm-hmm. And I think I actually got third. They're the third in Player of the Year, and I'd only been there for 18 games that season we joined. So I'm sorry to disappoint you. I can't actually remember that goal.
So you did start better than me then. I was right.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I didn't start at first. I think it was a few games before I scored a goal, and then I got a few in a succession. So, I'm sorry to disappoint. I just can't remember that goal.
It's all right. It's all right. What we can talk on then is, you as a striker and Ian as a midfielder. As a striker, it's easy to know like what your job is really. Like, when do you get your first goal? Like, Ian, is it your first assist or like what's the real marking of, okay, I've broken that?
No, for me it was settling in and getting trust.
Yeah.
For me it was gaining trust.
And is that gauged by how like the defense, like people passing to you, or like what is that? Yeah.
Yeah, big time, because you have to make things happen for them to want to give you the ball. And you say, I've coached for a number of years, and that's one of the first things you say. Get the confidence of your teammates. If you're not doing much when you do receive it, nobody's really going to want to give it to you. So for me, it was, you do. I don't care who you are, how good you are, how old you are. When you go to a new club, you have to earn that respect.
Yeah. And
it does take every day on the training field. It does, but more so, I think it's during games. You have to make things happen. You have to let them know that when they give you the ball, that you're not going to give it away. Let's say it was a defender giving it to me in midfield and I lose it. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, they're defending again.
He's not going to.
Yeah. They don't want that.
He's not going to give it to you. Yeah.
No, they. And I remember Alvin Martin after only a couple of months saying, maybe you come a little bit too deep. Maybe you shouldn't be receiving it where you do, because you're putting yourself in danger. And I said, well, I don't know any other way to do it.
Yeah.
That's just who I am. I want the ball, and I don't care where I am. And that's the way I played the game. And I just feel it took me a little. Trev did things, even if he doesn't remember his first goal, or it took 4 or 5 games for him to get his first goal, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. He did other things that gained the respect of his teammates. Well, I think before I did. That's the point I was trying to make.
That's it's a good way. So Trev, like, a lot of people say like, oh, he got his first goal in however many games, which is really where I was getting at. But like, do you feel like you did things early on at West Ham that even maybe before that first goal, regardless of how well you remember it, like? There's other things strikers do, pulling the centre backs in, letting the wingers go around. Like, was there
likes of Firmino and that?
Like, how do you feel about your start at West Ham? Ian said you started well. How do you remember that?
No, I remember it different. I remember it's a bit slow start. I remember that. I mean, it's a good point, because strikers always judged by scoring goals.
Yeah.
And I've never been that. I've always wanted to play. I know it sounds stupid. I'd sooner play well than score the goal that's the winner, and not play well, if you get what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, you live by the score. Yeah, and I think it's come back to what your dad said there, and he was so brave. That's what I loved about him as well. That he dropped deep to get the ball, and that's all he knew. But that was brilliant because he was always an option. Wherever he was, he wanted the. He never hide. And I know a lot of players hide. A lot of people don't really want the ball. And when you're getting the ball deep in that position there, you've got to be perfect. Your touch has got to be perfect. You lose it there, you can lose the goal. That's something. If I lose the ball up front, it doesn't really matter so much.
Yeah.
I always thought that's why I could never be a central midfield player, because in a way there's more pressure there. I have the pressure of scoring goals, the midfield player, and that's what, for me, Ian was so brave, because he was always the one that went and got the ball. He always gave an option to the centre half, the full-backs. He'd come and get the ball, drop deep. So, it was a great point, like Harvey Martin said, maybe he should be further up, but that wasn't him. Bish was brilliant on the ball, turn, weave, pass it, a link-up man. That's what he did. For me, I think I had a bit of a slow start. But once you got a goal, for strikers, even though you're playing well, that goal gives you that bit of extra confidence, and it takes the pressure off a little bit. When the goals start coming, yeah.
Well, I think it's easy to measure, or as a fan, you think it's easy to measure a striker because you want to just look at the numbers. Like you look like one player today, and I don't want to praise any Liverpool player right now, but Bobby Firmino does such a great job for Liverpool right now, and I don't think he's praised enough because he's not scoring as much as Salah and Mane.
Yeah.
But he does such a good job, and I don't think people look at strikers and look at what they do in terms of goals.
Yeah, it's a different game. He sets them up.
Yeah, so I think maybe however it's remembered, but I mean,
did you ever have a bad game and then you scored a goal you didn't think you were gonna score, and then it ended up being a great game and it ended up pushing your confidence, Trevor, to where let's say you score an early goal that you didn't think you were gonna score within the first 20 minutes, and then you were having a shit day or whatever, and then you score that goal which you didn't work for,
and it turns the whole game around.
And it turns exactly, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're dead right. I did do that, and I'll be honest, but I never got the satisfaction from that.
Yeah. You don't count it.
Well.
Yeah, you don't want to celebrate or anything. It's one of those where, no matter if you put it in the top corner, you feel like you didn't work for it. It's one of those I'm dependent on scoring goals, and I feel like I didn't work for this kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I never felt dependent on scoring goals. I knew I had to score goals. Obviously, it's a fact when you're playing centre forward. But I never felt dependent. I was more dependent on playing well, doing the job for the team. I know goals would come. I was never prolific, but I scored my fair share of goals, and that's the way I looked at my position. To be honest, but I always wanted to do the job for the team. I was never selfish. There's many selfish strikers. You talk about you mentioned Firmino there, and what a player he is, and you look at Salah, and for me, I don't know. Maybe this guy should go because I know he scored a lot of goals, but he can be very selfish. He gives the ball away. But
1,000%.
The crowd love him,
and
I think Mane and Firmino, but Salah, maybe the time to change it a little bit because he's had a great time, but I don't know if he's the complete player.
I don't
because
I think it's just because of the record.
I don't rate Salah as high as I do Firmino
or Mane.
Or Mane. Yeah, I think Mane, Firmino take it, but
yeah. I think he's third.
Just to jump in here now and gauging them players. I think the point Trev was sort of putting across, and I can tell you, being a teammate, I guarantee you, whether fans appreciate it or not, the job Firmino does and the job that Trev did, without the goal scoring, was probably appreciated more by his teammates.
Yeah,
than the actual fans
100%.
Trev, I think that's the centre mid in you. You
exactly.
started as a centre mid.
100%.
I think that's the centre mid in you, thinking I've got to be a team player.
100%.
That
how England used to play.
I think that's the centre mid in you, looking for that team. That it being included in the team build up,
I don't want to compare you to Emil Heskey, but that was his job. He wasn't there to score. You know, he was there for Robbie Fowler. He was there for Michael Owen.
But you just said you weren't prolific, but you were. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
well, I wasn't bad.
You could finish.
I mean, I played. When I look back, I played with players. I played with Tony Cottee. I didn't particularly like. He was just like a fox in the box, and he got goals, but he didn't do anything else. I played with Jimmy Quinn, who was a good player who would get goals, but he did his work. I played with Lee Chapman, my best season ever with Lee Chapman. So Clive Allen again. I played with Clive Allen, and I love Clive Allen. He's a great player, but he didn't do the dirty work. He didn't do what I did. You know? I still managed to outscore Clive, to be fair, but I was doing a lot more work than he was doing. But as a finisher, he was brilliant. But I never want to be that player. I never want to be that player hanging about because when I played football, I wanted to be involved. I wanted to have as much as the ball. I wanted to be involved. I could not be a Jamie Vardy. Jamie Vardy is one-on-one with the keeper. So he's just got this. He's got this to a T.
Yeah.
But he's not involved in anything. And for me, I need to get the ball. I want to be involved. Every throw-in, I want to go and get it and pass it. I want to be involved. That's my enjoyment of playing football. I could never have been a different striker. So maybe it cost me some goals, but I think also I would never have the career if I hadn't done that. I think people, like Bish says, the players you play with appreciate it more probably than the public. They see it, you know.
Yeah,
they
100%.
know Albion Martin when he's got the ball, when Bish has got the ball under pressure, he'll know I'll show for him, whatever. So I think that, you know, when I look back and people, they always praise me, you know, okay, they might be blowing smoke up my arse, but they always say he was a great player, and that means the most to me, really. So
I think, I mean, I think, you know, it goes back to you being a grafter, you know, like selling potatoes. It's like you're working for that goal, you know. So, but don't be talking about showing your balls to Vish on this podcast because that's just out of line. So
showing 4 balls, not showing his balls.
Oh, okay, different then. What I did want to talk about though is there was you two played the first home game after Bobby Moore passed away, and I started digging into this through the week, and I just wanted to talk about maybe like what the game was like, what the atmosphere was like, if there was any special memories behind that. So like. One big thing was Bobby Moore wore number 6, right? And that was your number, Ian. So
at the time, yeah.
And you wore exactly, and you wore number 12 for that game because they rested it for that game. What was the first home game? What was that? I mean, Trev, you scored as well in the 3-1 win. What was that game like?
He won't remember.
Yeah.
I never met Bobby Moore for one. Obviously, I've seen him play on TV and the World Cup. I remember the day he died. I don't remember this pitch. We were training, and Harry kept us training for an hour. He wouldn't take us in. I don't remember that. We were training for like an hour and a half normally after because Harry was obviously upset.
Yeah.
And he kept us out training. But I mean, it was a difficult one. I never met him. I know his legacy, and he's a legend. And my favourite story on Bobby Moore is the one Harry told when, I don't remember this Bish, when they were in the pub Friday night before a game away somewhere. And Bobby used to like a pint like you did, Bish. And
Cheers.
I think it was Ron Greenwood, and the message got down to the pub that they knew they were down the pub, the manager's coming down. So they all legged it back home. And Bobby was last, and he went round the back of the hotel. And he climbed over the fence, tried to climb over the fence, and it was like railings, and he slipped, and he got his arse stuck in the railings.
Jesus.
Why do you remember that?
But I mean, this is great because you could never get away with this nowadays. But so he's like World Cup captain Bobby Moore, whatever, legend, and it's the night before a game, and he's stuck. His arse is stuck in the railings. And the physios had to come out and get him off the railings, apparently. So, I mean, there's a story. I think Harry told us that story. So,
yeah.
But so what I liked about Bobby Moore was he was the England captain. He was such a good looking, but he had another side to him. Bobby, he was a bit of a gangster. I like that. I like Bobby.
Well, I just knew at the time, like there was I don't know, such a respect for them around the place. And even though not knowing them, you felt it alongside the supporters and everybody, you know, within the club itself. Especially, you know, back then, squad numbers weren't involved, and I had been wearing the number 6, and to have to actually go out there with the number 12 on was a little bit strange. But I know it was later on. I did talk about being the last person to wear the number 6, and somebody said, well, they didn't retire the shirt fully.
2004, I think it was.
Yeah, I don't think they did, and I think they said Matty Upson was the last one
to
wear the shirt
before
they retired it. Yeah, but such a legend, not just with West Ham, obviously with the whole country.
Yeah. I mean, do you remember that?
I've still got the shirt here. I mean, I've still got the shirt with me. I look at it. I don't know why, but I often look at it and look at that badge. Probably more testimonial. I remember it was completely full out, and his wife was there. Yeah, I mean, it was a sad day, obviously, because he's up there with anybody, of course.
Yeah. I mean, do you remember the atmosphere that game? Like, was it? The 3-1 win. Trev, you scored in the 3-1 win. I will remind you. But was the atmosphere any different? Like, was it, or was it just a normal, like being on the pitch? Obviously, in the stands, I'm sure the spectators felt it. But like, was there a difference?
I could lie to you, but I can't remember. Yeah. I can't remember what I had for breakfast, to be honest. But so it's different. It's different. I'm getting a bit demented and that. So, but I would imagine there'd been a lot of respect because I remember the atmosphere around the club. I remember what I remember is the flowers outside. There was so many flowers outside. I don't remember that bit when you went to Upton Park and that. There were so many flowers put outside or whatever. It was like amazing. So, yeah, the guys are complete. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what happens, George, is once like wherever you are, once the game kicks off, you're immersed in the game and it's another game of football, But it was a different day. I can remember that it was a different day,
But I never met him. But I met Jeff Hurst once. I went for the piss once, and Jeff Hurst was having a piss at the side of me.
He was having a Jeff Hurst.
That's the story. You've just killed him. You just killed him.
That was it. I remember looking and going, and I couldn't think of anything. The most stupid question ever. I said, what's it like to score a hat-trick in a World Cup final? Do you know what I mean? It was
as he was pissing on his shoes.
What did he say?
What he said to me, he said it was a great feeling. I said, you know what, Jeff? Whatever, you scored 3 goals in the World Cup final, but you know what, my knob's bigger than yours.
And he said, prove it, and you said no. So, all right, so, Trev, your last game at West Ham stopped Man United winning the league. Blackburn won it.
Yeah.
Was it extra sweet considering your time at City, or was it just another game? Or was it just another goal? Like, was it extra sweet knowing that United hadn't won it?
Yeah, I mean, it was just, every time he played Man United, it was special, I think, especially for the West Ham fans. They loved it. For me, it was my last season. I'd not played, I'd been injured, I'd not scored, everything was going wrong. It was the rusty nuts season, everything was going wrong. But I remember I played that game. I actually remember I saw it that their goal, I think Brian McClare scored. I was marking him, so
yeah.
And I left him. He scored a free header, but we got the 1-1, and my memory of that is just. And I've told this story is when we got in his dressing room after, and we sat there. And there was a knock on the door, and suddenly they're coming with a crate of champagne from Kenny Dalglish and Jack Walker, thanking us. And we sat there, looked at each other, and went, "Okay." I think we finished 13th in the league. I went, "Okay, let's party." And we opened the champagne and started drinking like we'd won the league. So
yeah,
it was quite funny, but no, I didn't. It wasn't extra special for me. I mean, it was just what was special was not to lose to Man United. I didn't really care who won the league, to be honest.
Yeah, and also, I mean, you said, How did you feel about it?
I did. I couldn't. I was ecstatic. It was just to stop them. I think if you remember, Trev, in '92 when Leeds won it, we'd beat Man United 1-0, even though we were getting relegated. Kenny Brown scored. Remember the goal?
Yeah.
And I remember then after that, I think Fergie had called our performance obscene.
Obscene, exactly, yeah.
Obscene. How could a team that's already going down pick themselves up because it's Man United? And I had a thing with Man United anyway, obviously throughout my career. Maybe Everton debut was Man U. You know, we had the 5-1 at City.
I mean, we all hate Man United.
Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah, hating them being a Scouser as well was the hatred was there from day one. You know, the biggest game of the season at Bournemouth was the FA Cup against Man U, and then the replay. You know, and then the Leeds game, and then the stopping them winning the league. Especially, it was as much for Gailey as well, because remember Gailey had signed for Blackburn that season.
Yeah.
And had earned enough performances to get a Premier League winners medal. So for me, it was big. Just stopping them.
He only played like half the season, didn't he?
Yeah, but I think he was supposed to back then. He was supposed to have appeared in 12 or 13 games to get a medal. So I think he'd earned enough and got the medal. In fact, I know he did, because he ended up getting me Alan Shearer's shirt from that season signed by all the Blackburn players.
I remember,
which I still have today, you know. But,
I think we posted it.
I celebrated like we'd won the league, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to celebrate. We used to celebrate after every game, really, Trev, didn't we, back then?
Right, was it? I mean, that's another come back to Billy Bonds. I remember we played in Tony Gale's testimonial. Remember that?
Yeah.
I think we played Ireland, didn't we? I remember that this is typical Bill, that he didn't, you know, he did some stupid things. As much as I love him and I love playing for him, that I think he told Tony on the morning and said, "I'm going to release you at the end of the season." And this is on his testimonial day. So Gailey was on a real downer. I don't remember that bit. He was on a real downer. And then he was like, I was with him because he was like, I think he got an offer for Enfield, £500 a week, and he was actually considering that. No clubs were coming in for him, and then suddenly, you know, I think he got asked to play in the Charity Shield, didn't he? He played the Charity Shield the first game, and he played well. And then Kennedy Dalglish said, "How much do you want?" And he got a deal, and he ended up getting a winner's medal. So and I love Gailey. I think he's a great bloke. So I was so pleased for him to do that. It was fantastic. Yeah, it was a great
amazing,
story for him.
And you said you borrowed Alan Shearer's celebration when you scored. You said that earlier.
Yeah.
So did that feel good? You know, you borrowed his celebration, and then he won the league because you stopped United winning it. So.
Yeah, maybe, but you know, I never had a set celebration. It's just like, you know, you just did stupid things. Like today, you know, they've got everything rehearsed, even the celebration.
Yeah. What was?
I think today they
practiced
think so
them.
much of the celebrations that they actually forget to score goals in the first place.
100%,
Trev, what was the most embarrassing or worst celebration you'd ever done, where you thought, why did I do that?
Well, I had one at Reading when I scored a goal and I celebrated, and it was an own goal, you know. And I've done a diving header near post.
You know, you're not meant to celebrate them, right?
Yeah, but I've celebrated like I've scored, and of course, you know, it's come Morley scored and everything and all that, blah blah blah. And then a bit later, because I think it was on matching day or something, it's like it's an own goal. Do you know what I mean? So I can remember being a bit embarrassed by that, trying to claim a goal that I didn't score. But
they do that all the time today. So.
I mean, there was that whole Christian Eriksen, Harry Kane thing. But was there ever a time where you thought, "What the hell am I doing right now?" Like, or
whilst you were celebrating,
like mid-celebration.
Yeah, like you were running and you're like, "Jesus fuck, I'm already running, so I might as well throw my arms up."
I can't think of one.
No.
If you give me some time, something might come to me. I can't really think of one.
It's all right. We're putting you on the spot, you know.
If he doesn't remember when he scores a goal, he's not going to remember the celebration, is he?
We'd ask Ian, but like, there's only 6.
He scored 7 goals. Yeah.
I remember all of them. About them.
All right. Was there any weird celebrations you had?
Yeah.
Was there any weird celebrations you had where you thought, "What the fuck am I doing right now?" Like.
Yeah, he scored a goal, and he's like, "Jesus fuck!"
When the tears come, you just took the words out of my mouth.
Sorry.
How the fuck did that happen? Was the thoughts that went through my mind. Because I wasn't
Oh
known
shit,
for it.
that was a cross.
Never got there. No.
All right.
When I meant to score, I scored.
Yeah.
I just didn't mean to score often enough.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, there's the famous picture of you scoring the header against Man United where you look like I'm a little teapot, short and stout.
Yeah.
This is my...
Well, that was a prelude to the future, to what was coming.
Yeah.
The funny thing
no.
is when you score a goal, you can actually run so fast. It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, the energy. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, you didn't attempt much. You didn't attempt much, Dad. So
No, I didn't. I was more. That's one of my regrets, actually. That I mean, I
No.
had the capacity. I had the capacity to hit shots and be creative with the balls. And when I look back, I think, well, if I could do it with a pass, why couldn't I do it with a finish?
It's passing into the goal. Yeah.
I didn't have the killer instinct in me.
Yeah.
But when you did
finish that often.
To be fair to you though, because we were pretty harsh on you last episode. To be fair, you've scored some goals where I thought, what the fuck was that with your left foot? I think you scored a left foot goal against Leeds or Luton. Where I thought
that was Port Vale away.
Port Vale,
I wish it'd have been a bigger team.
We've got
hop on about it.
We've got a chest of VHS. VHS are like videos, like in case people don't know.
And that when we were kids, used to force us to watch and be like, look, I actually did some justice. I actually did something during this stuff.
Yeah. So let me put you both on the spot then. So what was Trev? What was your favourite memory of Ian at West Ham? And just keep it PG. Don't go into the details.
My favourite memory of your dad at West Ham.
On or off the pitch? It's up to you.
Off the pitch. I remember Harry used to take us to Bournemouth for a little break. And we used to play golf. Well, we should play golf, and I remember I think the first year we stayed in 5-star hotel, the Bath Hotel or something, and Harry used to be with us, and then we used to have a meal at his restaurant, and he used to leave us early in the evening, and of course, as soon as he left, we were starting drinking or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember, I think the first night, we had a goalkeeper called Jerry Payton, and somehow he got in a fight with, was it Dave Watson? He used to play for Dave Watson's brother.
Mark, yeah. Wasn't Mark, no?
Mark Watson. And I remember Harry used to come for breakfast in the morning, and I remember he used to say, everything all right, Alvin? Everything okay, Alvin, last night? And Alvin would go, yeah, not bad, Harry. He went, but Jerry's in hospital. He's had 29 stitches. And and the next year, we scaled down to like a 3-star hotel, and I think the third year was in like bed and breakfast, But I remember this time when we'd been on it all night. Harry had left us. We'd been on it all night, and we were like super drunk. And I've gone down for breakfast, and Harry's sitting there. I thought, oh shit! And your dad was like completely out of it. And I thought, I hope Bish don't come down. Yeah. And Harry said, good night. And I was not too bad. I was, not bad, Harry. Good night. Yeah, we had a couple. Yeah. And then suddenly your dad's come in, and I've never seen him worse ever. He was like, his shirt was half buttoned up. He's like, his jeans were on back to front. His hair.
The rips were in the back.
His hair was cut with like Jedward. Do you know what I mean? He was like,
yeah.
I thought, oh no. And he sat at the side of me, and Harry's there, and Harry's looking at him, and he's gone, oh, good night, Bish. Good night.
And he's...
the stories I could tell, but I can't actually tell it on this show, to be honest. But
so was you there with all the fire extinguishers?
Yeah.
Mate.
When Alvin got caught, yeah.
Oh, frightening.
What's that about?
It was like a snow blizzard. Every wall, every carpet was white.
Well, what? Let's tell that story. It sounds like a good one.
Nah.
No.
No.
Yeah.
All right, give the gist of it then.
The case is still open.
No,
go on. I can't remember who set them all off, to be fair.
I remember Stuart Slater was messing around with it, and Stuart Slater's sort of a straight guy. He was like messing around with this fire extinguishers, and Alvin stepped in and took it off him, and it's still thrown out the foam, whatever. And the manager from the hotel's come in and gone, oh, I'm so surprised at you, Alvin.
Yeah, once they start, it's kind of hard for them to stop.
It was a powder one. It wasn't a foam one. It
was
powder,
okay.
It was one of them old powder ones, but
I mean, once you press that, it's they're just gonna keep coming out. Yeah.
I had a story when I was in hospital when I'd been stabbed, and So, of course, I nearly died, and I woke up in the morning, and I've got all these tubes and stuff all over me, and whatever. And of course, your dad was the first to come and visit me, and he brought Frank McAvenny with him. And I remember he'd cut his finger, had a bad cut on his finger. And I'm lying there, like, you know, I've got like pipes and blood transplant and whatever all over me, and lying there. And your dad just kept moaning about his finger. He went, my finger's killing me. So I was on the deathbed almost. So I've got tubes and everything hanging out of me. And your dad and Frank McAvenny are first to meet me the next day. They've come in and he's cut his finger. And he keeps moaning about his finger. And I'm lying there. Anyway, we carry on for a bit. And so, you know, the emergency cord. So suddenly I've pulled the emergency cord for the nurses to come quick. And like, your dad and
McAvenny
are panicking a bit. They're panicking. What's going on? Is it like that? And the nurses ran in. I've gone, can you have a look at his finger, Fred? He won't stop moaning about it.
Yeah, get a tube into his finger or some shit.
Fine. So remember the fella came in, Trev, when we were all looking at each other. I must admit, you was on your deathbed, and all of a sudden the nurse has gone, one of your friends is here. So like this guy walks in, and I'm looking at Frank, and I'm looking at the fella, I'm thinking, well, I don't recognise him. Frank's looking at me as if like I don't recognise him, and then we're both looking at Trev, thinking, oh, it must be one of his friends, like from the past, like from non-league or whatever. And next thing you know, the fella pulls a notepad out of his pocket. It was a reporter that had conned his way in. He just wanted to get in and obviously do the story. Me and Frank jumped up, didn't we? Grabbed him. Wrestled him out into the corridor and booted him up the arse. Kicked him down the corridor. Trev, what's this, the Ronnie Whelan story?
Yeah, of course, Ronnie. I mean, when we played the Man City, he played that day, didn't he? First game for Man City in the top league.
That was my debut, yeah. My debut at Anfield, yeah.
Yeah, and me as well. First, I mean, for me, it's come from like 6-5, 4-3-2 to the top league, and the first game Man City against Liverpool, and a fantastic side, and that was the last side to win the league. But and I'll always love Ronnie Whelan. When I was at Derby County on the trial, Ronnie was there at a trial as well. A fantastic player. I loved the guy. I thought he was brilliant. So anyway, when I'm signing for Reading, I've left West Ham and I'm going to sign for Reading, and I've got a phone call. I'm on the way to Reading, and Southend, Ronnie Whelan is manager of Southend, and he's rang, and no, he's not rang, but the chairman's rang me to Trevor, before you sign for Reading, can you come down? Ronnie really loves you. He wants you to come and sign for Southend. So I went to Reading and I spoke to John Majeski. I said, listen, I told him the truth. I said, Southend have rang. Ronnie Whelan is a bit of a legend. He's manager of Southend. Maybe I'd like to play for him. I'm not saying I'm not going to sign for you, because Reading was a better club than Southend, to be fair. So, but I just want to go down and talk to him. So, okay. So I remember I drove back 3 hours. I got a speeding ticket. Eventually I got to Southend, and the chairman's waiting for me. He said, Trevor, brilliant, I'm glad you come. He said, Ronnie's waiting for you in his office. So I walked in, knocked on the door, walked in, and there was Ronnie sitting at his desk. He went to me, sit down, Tony. I went, what? He went, sit down, Tony. And you know what? He just lost me there. So I sat down, and I was too embarrassed to say, Ronnie, that's not my name.
Fellas, Tony Morley was a famous player for Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Was a winger who won the European Cup with them in, I think it was 1980, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
so suddenly I'd lost all respect for Ronnie. I lost respect. I didn't listen to a word he said, and I said thank you very much, and walked out. And I went back to sign for Reading. But yeah.
Boys, if you remember Ronnie used to come in the pub.
I remember, Quality. He didn't know our names either.
Mac. Yeah. He used to come in and hammer me, didn't he? The fact I'd never won anything. But when we're talking about that City game at Anfield, it was my City debut, and obviously Trevor's debut in the top flight, wasn't it, Trev?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And I remember Neil McNabb saying to me before the game, just kick one of them, meaning Ronnie and Steve McMahon in the middle of the midfield. He went, just kick one of them. I went, okay. So anyway, I ended up catching Ronnie quite late, I caught Ronnie quite late, and he jumped straight up. And I thought I'd hurt him, but he jumped straight up. And he turns around to me and he goes, "Is it first game, is it, Sonny?" And I went, "Yeah, it is, and you're going to know about it." He went, "Do you want to come home and see me medals?" Done me straight away, killed me.
Yeah,
and to be honest with you, we lost the game 3-1. After the game, I was in the players' lounge, seeing Ronnie at the bar, and I went over to him. And I went, "I really would like to come and see your medals, if that's okay."
Yeah, Trevor, is there any centre-back you went against and just shit yourself because of his profile?
Or how tough he was?
Oh, yeah, how tough he was? Like,
Who, Ronnie?
No, just anyone.
Was there any centre-back that you came up against where you thought, like, "Oh, fuck me, this guy's big"?
Yeah, like, I know his legacy.
I'm going to be in for a battle today.
Yeah, exactly.
Never. I was never frightened. I always.
No, they would say that about you.
No. But funny, I have a little story of the Liverpool game because that was my first game as well, and I had some new Umbro boots on. I remember I got sponsored by Umbro, and this is actually a true story. And it's like after about 20 minutes, the sole of my boot is coming loose and it's flapping. I'm like running around. I can feel there's something wrong, and my boot's flapping, and you can actually see it. And I think we got the free kick after about 25 minutes where Andy scored the deflected goal. And I'm shouting to the bench, "You got to get me a new boot, get me a new boot." And so they threw me on the boot, and they threw me on the wrong boot. They threw me on Andy Hinchcliffe's boot, which is like 2 sizes too small for me. And so I've crammed my foot in it. I've gone, "It's the wrong boot, it's the wrong boot." Just get on with it. So as we get on towards half time, I can't feel my right leg. It's like there's pains in my leg. The blood's not flowing. So I've shouted to the bench again. I've said, "Listen, get a boot. I can't feel my leg." They went 2 minutes to half time. So okay, so I think we 1-1 because Andy scored, and you can actually see this. It's like right on the stroke of half time. I've got the ball and I've gone past. I think we've gone past 2 Liverpool players, and I've put it through Alan Hansen's legs, and I'm through 1-on-1 with Grobbelaar in front of the cop. And I can't feel my right leg. And the referee blew for half time as I'm going down on goal. I'm a slight, and he blew for half time. And I ran to the referee and went, "You."
It was one leg.
And he went, "Trevor, I did you a favour, son. I could see you was going to miss that goal."
Do you remember who the ref was?
I'll just watch there's a video, wasn't it, on YouTube, the 12 minutes of that game. And it was actually, you could see you, Trev. What about the free kick you're talking about with Andy Hinchcliffe? I've just tweeted the picture. When I said when I scored the third against Man United, he wasn't interested. I've just gone down, I've smashed in with Steve McMahon, he smashed me in the jaw. And there's a picture of you, you've got your back turned to me, not bothered whatsoever whether I was okay or not. Yeah. Just wondering where you were going to take the free kick. And in the end, you didn't take it.
No, I was looking towards the bench. That's why I wanted to get a new boot.
Yeah.
That was...
He was seeing if someone could tie his laces.
To be fair, I think the ref might have been right, though, Trev.
yeah. We'll never know, but I wasn't disappointed. I think I would have messed up. I have a feeling I would have messed up there. But it could have put us 2-1 in front. You never know.
Yeah. Trev, going to your career at Reading.
Yeah.
Do you remember knocking Leeds out of the League Cup at Allen Road with your late winner?
I scored a late goal. Yeah. So that was. Quite special. I remember that we actually got cigars on the coach on the way home.
Yeah,
we were smoking cigars, so that was quite. It was quite a big win for us to. I think we played Middlesbrough in the quarterfinals, and they just signed Paul Merson.
Yeah,
and I think he was on like £25,000 a week, which was more than the whole of our team together. So, I had a good 3 years at Reading. To be fair, after I left West Ham, Jimmy Quinn, who had played with him at West Ham, was joint manager there, and he wanted to sign me. And I had 3 massive injuries there. My cruciate went, and I had another massive knee injury, and also fractured my skull. But You know, it was my best.
Trev, tell us about that one. Was that John Gittins?
Yeah, John Gittins at Portsmouth. Yeah, I jumped and won the header, and as I landed, he just elbowed me straight into the head, and it was the ref didn't even see it, and he gave the free kick, and I started feeling a bit ill, and there was no blood or anything, so I didn't think anything of it, and then I started feeling weird, and I was being sick on the pitch, and I think I maybe played for about 10 more minutes, went off, and I was being sick in the changing room, and but when I went to touch over my eye, when I went to touch, the bone had gone. It was like just soft. So I thought, oh shit, I'm in trouble here. So took an ambulance into London, and they had to find out I was fractured my skull. So I spent a night in the hospital. They wake you up every 30 minutes and check in, and I saw the specialist the next morning, and he said to me, "We're going to have to operate and put some metal in here and put it back together." So, but the funny thing was, he said, "We're going to cut you from ear to ear and take your face off." And I remember thinking he was joking. I thought, this is a good joke.
Yeah.
So
It's a movie.
Just give me a scar. I'm not bothered. Give me a scar. I said, no. And they actually cut from your ear over the top of your head, and then they pull your face off and do the operation, and then they pull it back and staple it together. So
that's why you look so much better today than you used to.
Yeah, I got a free facelift. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah.
You got the Brad Pitt look.
Yeah. We'll give you eyebrows that Ian shaved off. Don't worry.
Well, we're getting to that, yeah. So when
I met another famous person when I was at Reading.
yeah, we're
I'll tell you a little
keeping
story.
the list.
So,
Yeah,
The fucking Pope? You met Muhammad Ali.
I tell you what, it's not far from the Pope, especially because you're a Liverpool guy. So there's me, Barry Hunter, and Stuart Lovell, and we've both got knee injuries, and we go on the bikes going down the lanes, and we go to Henley-on-Thames, which is the richest area outside London, fantastic area. And we've come up to this big house, and there's a gatehouse there. And Archie said to me, "There's someone famous live here." I went, "Who?" He went, "No, I'm not telling you. Who do you think?" And I leant on the gate, and the gate opened. The gate was open at the bottom. There's a big gatehouse. So Barry Hunter, he's the top man at Liverpool, by the way, signing all the players. Barry Hunter, the Irish guy, crazy guy. He said, "Let's go in." So we got on our bikes, and we wheeled up, and it was like maybe almost a mile up this lane. There were Buddhas, there were fantastic gardens, and you come up to the most fantastic house you've ever seen in your life. It's huge. I mean, it's not even a house. It's twice Buckingham Palace. It's just unbelievable. And there's a massive maze at the front, and we got off our bikes, and suddenly we heard this voice, "Oi!" And we've looked behind us, and there's one of the Beatles, George Harrison. He sat down, smoking a roll-up with a cup of tea, reading his Sun newspaper. We're like 2 meters from him. And he's gone to me, "How'd you get in?" "Your gate was open." He went, "What are you doing here?" And Barry was saying, "Yeah, we're football players who were injured." And he went, "You can fuck off." And like, it was so surreal because I was like right next to one of the Beatles. And, you know what I mean? It was like a special moment. And he told me to fuck off. And we jumped on the bikes. We thought we was going to get shot. And we got on the bikes and we was running down. And Big Barry he shouted to George. He went, "We've got all your LPs, George." So, and the funny thing was, I think it was a month later that he got stabbed, him and his wife, in his house.
Yeah.
I don't remember this. Like a Beatle fan. So there was no security, but it was.
They hopped over the wall, didn't they?
That was supposed to be the lad that did that was supposed to have been from Canny Farm,
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Honestly, yeah.
Oh,
100%.
I know all about that, and I didn't know it was about.
Yeah. Honestly, man.
They never got him. He's got long hair, or whatever.
Yeah.
They said he got long hair and a big nose.
Yeah, he could have been part of the fucking Beatles at that point.
It was Ringo.
Yeah, it was Ringo. He's like, "I'm your drummer," and then just stabbed.
Oh, Trevor, you know what, mate? You know the story I want to hear. I did a podcast. I'm sorry, I didn't do the podcast. I've done a podcast for these people, but they had boiling head on, Trev. He had butts on, and it was absolutely quality. And he sort of mentioned about the Cheltenham trip, but he told it from his side, which he obviously doesn't remember a lot of it. Do you want to delve into that story?
Yeah, I think that's one of the best days of my life, to be fair.
Me too, mate, yeah.
It's West Ham gone on a bus to Cheltenham, and I remember we've saved up some money, and I think it was Peter Butler and Mike Marsh have got the kitty, and I think we've got like £2,500, which was a lot of money then, and they've got the money. And I remember we were getting in there, and them two have disappeared, and no one can find them. They're in the champagne tent drinking champagne or whatever. So Peter Butler's getting completely drunk, and because we're West Ham players, we got invited into what's his name, Martin Pike.
Martin Pike. You called him Mr. Pike because you didn't know nothing
that's
about
the top trainer. He's the top trainer. He's the top man, and we're invited into his tent where he got food.
Mate, wasn't it? It was Harry's mate. Yeah. Harry got us in there. Yeah.
Food, champagne. Jan Mulby was there. Martin Pike's wife was there. With everyone's got the big hats on at Cheltenham. Then suddenly Peter Butler and Marsh have come in, and they're rat arse. They're so drunk. And I remember he's took the hat off Martin Pike's wife, who's a real lady. He's ripped the hat off, and he's running around the tent with a hat. You know, it's like it's not good. And he's seen Jan Mulby and called him a fat, the C word again. But anyway, I'm not a gambler. I've actually won some money, and we've had a fantastic day. We've had a good drink. It's been a brilliant day. We were on the coach on the way home, and we decided we're going to stop at a restaurant. And we stop at a restaurant, and I think me and you, Bish, we didn't bother about with the starters coming. Me and you nipped to the pub.
We'd noticed there was a pub next door to the restaurant, so as everybody's waiting to order the starters, we've nipped out and tucked around the corner into the pub next door.
I think as I remember, we took Peter Butler with us.
Took butts and he's scalloped. Yeah, he's absolutely scalloped.
And Billy's come in and said his food's ready or something. But anyway, cut the story short, we got back on the coach, and we were at the back of the coach, and there was actually some West Ham directors there, as I remember. Billy, Harry, and a couple of directors were there, come to Cheltenham. And Butts is completely out of it now. He's laying on the back seat. So me and Bishop, we took all his clothes off. We've stripped him off naked, completely naked. And we said to him, Butts, he said, Harry and Bill want to have a word with you at the front of the coach. And he's so drunk, he's got up naked. And
he doesn't realise he's naked, though.
He don't realise he's naked. He's walked down to the front of the bus by the directors. These old directors, about 70 years old, whatever. And he's, do you want to have a word with me, Bill? What is it? And like, of course, they were like shocked at what we'd done. So, just one of them things we used to do.
Mate, the thing was, just to go back a little bit in that story, what we'd done is me, Trev, and Butts, we'd sort of took Butts into the pub next door, and he was absolutely off his trolley. We've sat there, and they had like a pub quiz going on. So we put ourselves in as a team, me, Butts, and Trev, in the pub quiz, right? And then Trev's looking at me going, I think we should get back. Maybe we should get back. Butts is now asleep. He's sitting, leaning against the fruit machine, right? By the stage, where only his feet are sticking out. If you come in the front door, you can only see his feet. So he's leaning against the fruit machine asleep. And Trev's gone, I think we'd better get back. And I go, no, we'll wait for the pub quiz. So anyway, Trev actually goes back, and I'm sitting there with Butts. And Trev, you must have passed Billy on the way. Billy and Harry. You must have passed them coming in as you were going out. Yeah. Because I've just seen them walking towards me. And bear in mind, I'm facing Butts, but they can't see him because the fruit machine's in the way. Only his feet are sticking out. So I'm looking to my left to see them walking down, and they're fuming. And they walk down, and Bill goes, "What the fuck you doing?" I went, "The quiz."
The quiz, that's it, the quiz, yeah.
He went, what? I went, the quiz, he went, where the fuck's Butts? And he literally can't see him because the fruit machine's in the way, but his feet are sticking out. And I've gone, he's there. And he looks around the corner and sees Butts. He goes, oh, for fuck's sake. He went, get yourself next door. I went to the fella at the compare. I went, you couldn't hold the quiz till we come back after, could you? Next thing, I walk by, Harry sort of gives me a fucking shoulder and bumps into me as if he's fuming at me. I walk back in, we're in the restaurant, and we're sitting looking out the window. Next thing, we look out the window, the bus is out at the front. You see Billy and Harry carrying Butts like he was rushing from the war. His feet are dragging along the floor. So they just carry him, they take him and put him on the bus. What we didn't know what had happened in the restaurant, Seb, I don't know if you remember Keithy Rowland. Apparently he's reading the menu, so drunk. He's reading the menu, and the fella had come and lit the candles on the table. He's reading the menu, and his menu burst into flames. He'd had it leaning on the candle without realising and started to go asleep. Anyway, we took the menu off him, put the flames out. He just fell face first into his soup. When his soup Right. They never wanted to take us away again after that. But
that reminds me.
Butts on the back asleep. Yeah, that was brilliant.
I've got two stories now that follow up with that, and one involves you, Bish, big time. Well, they both involve you, of course.
Go on, son,
it's the PFA, but just to explain, the PFA do is the award dinner towards the end of the season where they get the player of the season and the team of the season, etc. And it's quite a good do because, you know, you get a lot of the Premier League players or all the divisions are there, a lot of them turn up. And I remember this one particular time, and it was actually Bish's own fault because he took me to Carlisle once, and we met his friend there, and I remember that we were going out and we were drinking Guinness, and he taught me this little trick where we put a vodka in the top of the Guinness, and just on one person, so he wouldn't know. So we're having a few Guinnesses, and of course everyone's getting a bit merry, but the guy that's getting a vodka in every round, he's getting out his box. He's like really drunk all over.
Yeah.
So this came right back at him because it's PFA do. We've got a lovely black limousine, and there's about 8 of us from the West Ham team. And I think we started off, it was quite cool because we had the monkey suits on in the black limousine, and we stopped in the East End in a couple of pubs in the East End and went in there, had a drink. And of course, we got a Bish that day. So we was all drinking Guinness, about 8 of us, getting rounds in. And Bish has always had a vodka on the top of it. So he was getting a bit merry before us, and we turned up to the PFA do, and that continued. And anyway, to cut it short, there's a lot of people there. Ferguson, not everyone's there. End of the night, he's completely arseholed. He's really drunk. And as you walk out the PFA do, the big lounge, you have to walk through this little entrance, and there's a sort of a big armchair there. And Bish had sat in that and fell asleep. And so we decided to, or I decided a little bit. So we put a cigarette in his mouth, and we put like a vodka in his hand and a whiskey, and we put loads of like pint glasses and booze all around him. And of course, I mean, at this time, there'd always been a little bit of people thought maybe he drinks too much. I don't know. But it was so funny because he sat there so drunk, and at the end of the night, everybody from the do walked past him, you know, and cut Alex Ferguson, everyone, and he was just sat there in his chair, asleep, with a cigarette in his mouth, surrounded by booze and bottles of whiskey and everything. So,
and you wonder why I never got a big move anywhere.
Have you got? There's no chance you've got a picture of that, is there?
I wish I had.
Yeah.
Geordie, I'll tell you right now, his phone's the worst phone you've ever seen in your life. So he's not going to have had a camera phone back then. The thing was, Trev, we started a day at the Ball Dine. Do you remember Pat and Tina by our house?
Yeah.
The Ball Dine, and we have some stories from there as well. Pat and Tina used to let us have stay behinds, didn't they?
Yeah.
And we've gone in there one night. I think we'd been out the country club or whatever, and we come back, seen if the lights were still on, and if the lights were still on, Pat always said, just knock at the window and we'll let you in. So we go in, the pool table was there. We started having a game of pool. There was about 4 or 5 of us playing. And Pat was like, oh, I'm going to go to bed. If you want anything to eat, just go in the kitchen and all that. And Seb was going on saying, yeah, I'm starving. So, like, I went in the kitchen while I wasn't playing, and I looked and I seen, what was the dog called? Remember the dog? It was an Alsatian they had. Anyway, the dog food was sitting on the side, and I thought, I'll get him here. So I made 2 pieces of toast, and once I'd done one slice, I took a bite out of it, and then I put the dog food, and I spread it all on the other slice with the bites out of it, and then I put the lid back on, and I cut it in half. So I walked out back to the pool table, holding the half where I'd already took the bite out, and then I had the other half in the other hand, and I was pretending to chew as I walked out. As I walked out, Trevor went, oh, what's that? I went, pate. He went, oh. He went, can I have some? I went, yeah. And I gave him the other half as I pretended to chew. He started eating the dog food on toast. And I had to turn away all the time. He was carried on playing film. I'm watching him thinking, he's got to notice. He's got to notice, and he didn't. And I've had to, can you imagine me trying to contain me laughter?
Yeah.
And I'm turning away, and he's playing pool, and he's chewing away. Anyway, when he's at the last bit, I said, how was that, Trevor? He went, oh, it was lovely. I just realised it was dog food. And then he started, like, balking, like, reaching, like, going to throw up. Anyway, he kept it in. We go home, like, I mean, Trevor was staying with us at the time. It was after all the issue, and he was staying with us while he was convalescent. So he's gone, Bish, whatever you do, tomorrow when we go to pub, don't tell anyone, will you? Don't tell anyone I had the dog food. I went, no, I won't, promise, Trevor, promise. So anyway, we get up Sunday, and he's getting ready, and obviously he was blow drying his hair, and I went, oh, I'm going to walk over to the pub. Just follow me over, because the pub was only like 30 yards from the house, wasn't it? Yeah. So I walk over to the pub, and I tell everybody in there, it's chocker. I tell everybody in there, so he thinks, oh, nobody knows. Anyway, he walks in the pub, and nobody turns round or anything. And then he orders a pint off Pat. And Pat gives him his pint in the dog's bowl on the floor. And then people start turning around and go, come on, Trev, here's a good boy. Yeah. Here you come, Trev. It was brilliant, mate, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember someone whistled, hey, boy. And there was a pint on the floor in the bowl. So, and the whole pub was laughing. So, yeah, you didn't tell anybody. Thanks for that.
They were great, Pat and Tina, though, because when we used to do interviews, it was back in the day when the pub was shut from 3 till 7. It closed at 3, opened again at 7, and Pat would always say, oh, you got an interview, bring the report to the pub and pull your own pints. While Pat went upstairs and went asleep. It was brilliant, wasn't it, mate? Good days. Do you remember, I still speak to Gary Parker on Twitter. Do you remember him, the Arsenal fan? I think he's living in Spain now. He's still... Yeah. Anytime the story comes up, he comes back and says, oh, what the good old days, you know?
Yeah, they were fantastic. Best times of my life, to be fair.
It was fun. Geordie, do you remember when Trev flew in from Norway? And picked him up from the airport at Fort Lauderdale. And he was shattered, obviously, when I picked him up. It's only like 45 minutes to the house. And he was shattered, and he got in the passenger seat, put his bags in, got in the passenger seat, and then when I pulled up in the driveway, I came in the house and went, get me a razor. Can you come out and see this?
Yeah.
And he was sitting in the passenger seat.
Yeah, I remember.
I shaved his eyebrow off.
Yeah.
Shaved his eyebrow off. Funny, I showed you how to do it, like.
Yeah.
And then when he woke up, Trev, you can take the story on from there, I think.
Because I remember a little bit different. I remember that you picked me up, but I don't think we went straight home. We had a few pints on the way home, and it's a long day. It's a long day when it's a long day because it's like when you travel to America, it makes it like a 30-hour day. So I was pretty knackered. I remember I fell asleep, and then I remember woke up the next morning. I felt fresh and everything, and I remember went out with the kids and everything, and went to the pub and went for a meal. And I was having such a great time. I remember that I was telling stories, and everyone was laughing and enjoying themselves, and it was like, well, everyone likes me here. Everything I said, people were falling over laughing at my jokes. It was like, wow, I had a fantastic day, I've got to say. I thought the Americans were brilliant. I thought his family were great. Everyone loved me. They were laughing, everything. So it was a fantastic day. So the following day I woke up, had a shower, and then I'm just like looking in the mirror, and I'm thinking, what? Something's wrong here. And it took me like 10 minutes looking at myself, but I've got no eyebrows. So I spent a whole day without knowing, and everybody else knew, and they were just laughing. They weren't laughing with me, they were laughing at me. So,
Hey, you don't know
I remember saying to the kids, like, see how long we can last until he realises he's got no eyebrows.
I remember that was the first day, so I was staying there for, I don't know, a week or 2 weeks, and I remember I tried to wear a cap. I tried to put makeup on. There was no way out of it. And I remember
that wasn't strange for you, was it? That wasn't strange for you wearing makeup.
You gotta put band-aids, like plasters, on your eyebrows and act like you were in a fight.
Yeah, we tried everything.
See,
to be fair, I mean,
Connor knows the answer because he's been around Ian for so long.
I think it's a bit of a cruel thing. I mean, I laugh at it now, but I wasn't that well pleased about it, to be fair. You know what I mean?
I hate to say it, I've had the chance to shave his eyebrows off. I just didn't.
Trev, have you ever got him with anything like that? Like have you ever got him with any pranks like that, or is it just him on you?
Well, to be fair, we had I'm repeating myself. He took me to Carlisle, and we met his friend, and that's when he taught me the old vodka and the Guinness trick.
Yeah.
We did with his friend, and we did exactly that. We actually shaved his eyebrows off and other parts of his body, whatever. And he woke up in the morning and suddenly he started shouting, and he was going crazy. And he got a job interview the next morning, and he was like so pissed off with me and Bish for what we did. I can't remember his name, Bish, but
Bully,
you remember the Carlisle?
Bully, yeah.
Yeah. So, and he was trying the plaster, he was trying everything, and sunglasses, whatever, and he was just like, I've got a job interview tomorrow, I'm never going to get through this.
So we've got we've got a segment we like to do called Stitch Up Bish on the podcast. So the first,
have you done that already?
No, we're not done yet. The first question we usually ask is, what was he like as a roommate?
Yeah, he was a great roommate because he used to tell me. I used to ask him to tell me stories to get me to sleep, and I can't repeat what stories they were, but he always used to tell me a few stories. Like you, when you was kids, he used to read you a story, I'm sure, to get you to sleep. Well,
yeah.
He used to do the same to me, and
I used to do it to Trevor in the pub to get him to sleep, so he didn't fucking annoy anyone.
Well, I guess this sort of there's a funny story that comes up. Trev, you lived with my dad and my mom. I don't know when it was, but you ended up staying
before we were born.
You ended up staying with my dad and my mom before we were born, and there's a funny story about involving a window cleaner. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but if you guys can take over and tell that story, because that's
that was right in the middle of the when we were going through the gay period, and everybody was, everyone was talking about it. The crowds were singing it. We'd go in a pub and people were like, and we was like, it never got in the papers, but the whole country believed that we were lovers or gay, whatever. But anyway, I used to stay with your mum and dad, and I remember this one particular. I think we had a game on the Monday. I think it was a Saturday, if I remember. It was a weekend, and your mum went down to make a cup of tea. She used to get the papers for us, and so I got in bed with Bish, and we were sitting there reading the papers, and suddenly a ladder's come up, and the window cleaner's come up, and he's looking through the window, and he sees me and Bish in a double bed reading the papers. It was like.
Can I just jump in there? By the way, he used to come into my room and get in my bed when I was still
as a
sleeping
joke.
normally. I was still sleeping normally, not as a joke. No,
the door was open though, wasn't it?
The door was open because your mum had gone down to make the tea, so he would come in and he would get the papers and come in. And the fact was, the worst thing for me was, well, I still do today, and I know people don't really want to know, but I slept naked. I sleep naked. So the fact is, when the window cleaner comes up and he's sitting next to me, all his own doing, by the way, not me, I didn't invite him. He's sitting there reading the papers. The window cleaner comes. Now I open my eyes and I realise the window cleaner's there. I can't run now. Imagine what it's going to look like. I'm bolloco trying to run out of the room when he's sitting there reading the frigging paper in the bed.
And you can't see Trevor's hands.
You know what's funny about all that though is like, Ian, now you're cleaning windows, so I'm sure you're climbing up, looking to you're looking to justify the story to make it normal, trying to find two friends making a joke in the windows.
Well, maybe I'm not a psychologist, but maybe there's something in that he feels that he's had to go and clean windows.
Yeah, that's what I said.
But I also remember that, because I used to stay in that spare bedroom, didn't used to lie there sometimes, hiding for like an hour.
I was about to say,
after Trevor's ordeal, boys, after Trevor's ordeal, he was scared of sleeping in the dark, right? Right? So one night, he's in the spare room, he was scared of sleeping in the dark. So one night, I've heard him getting up and doing something in the middle of the night, and I get up to go and see what's happening. I hear some noises. And he's actually gone down to make himself a sandwich. So I think, what can I do? So anyway, I end up getting down, laying down the side of the bed and pulling the quilts over me. Right. And then I hear him like finishing off downstairs, and then he comes up the stairs. And then I knew he was scared of the dark, like. So he comes back into the bedroom, and he's sitting in the bed, and I can hear him munching away. Had a sandwich or whatever. I let him finish his sandwich, and then he gets up and he turns the lights off. And then I wait for him to get into bed, and then like 5 minutes later, I reach my hand over to grab him, and then he screams his head off. I jump up, frighten the fucking life out of him.
It doesn't sound good that you was like,
yeah, I was going to say,
your hand and grab me.
Trevor was calm, and he felt the hand was like, it's only bitch.
Well, But it takes me back to another funny story when you're talking about, I don't remember this one, because Harry, he took us to the Belfry, which is like the top golf course in England, 3 days golfing. And of course, first night, we're still in the bar, like I think it's 6:30, 7 in the morning, me and Bish are still in the bar when they start teeing off, and we can just see them from the window of the bar. And we it's a very posh golf course, and as they're just on the going to hit the ball, we're shouting out whatever. But anyway, the following night, our captain Steve Potts, he got really drunk and he fell asleep in a big leather chair. So the Belfry's like it's just on the main road, sort of outside Birmingham. So we decided it was a main road, dual carriageway, and in the middle there was like a grass verge of maybe 4 meters. So there's lorries going down each side. So we've carried him out on this leather chair, and we've put him in the middle of the motorway, like 1 o'clock in the morning. And there's not that much traffic, but there's lorries going by. And looking back, it was a bit of a stupid thing to do because. But you can imagine Potsy, our captain. He suddenly woke up. He's, where am I? He's stuck in the middle of the motorway with lorries flying. But right.
Didn't we do the conga? Wasn't we doing the conga all the way out there with him on the chair above our heads?
Yeah. So that was a good time.
Well, back to the football then, because that's what this podcast is about. The summers you were at Reading and you spent the summers on loan in Norway. So was the constant football year round, was it better or worse for your fitness? Like, how do you feel like that affected you?
It was actually brilliant for me. It was actually at West Ham, not the last year at Reading, but I did it 3 years. I think the first time in '92 where the Norwegian, because I was going over to Norway.
Yeah.
In the summer anyway, they approached me, and West Ham were very sceptical, but they eventually did a deal. So it's quite a funny story because Brand, it's a big club. They get like 20,000 watching them, and so I did a deal and went over, and I wasn't sure about it. But the first game I played for them was at home, and it was the National Day. And the National Day in Norway is a massive day. It's like everyone goes out and celebrates. It's a crazy day. They all wear suits and flags. But I was unaware of this. So the day before I played my first game for them against Viking, and we won 3-1, and I scored, and it was brilliant. There was 22,500 people there. It was crazy. It was like really great atmosphere. So I woke up after they said to me, Trevor, we'll pick up at 11:30 tomorrow. We're going into town. Now, I was unaware of the National Day. Anyway, I woke up and the two local newspapers, and front page, I'm thinking, wow, this is crazy. There's a big picture of me front page. It's like, I felt like a superstar. They picked me up, we went into town. I had to put my suit on, whatever. And then we started going through the town, and it was just full of people. And there were photographers filming me. And I'm thinking, this is unbelievable. And I thought it was because we'd won the game. I didn't know it was a National Day. There was like 20,000 people out in Bergen celebrating. And I'm thinking, wow, this is better than West Ham. This is like crazy to come out celebrating the game. So 2 weeks later, when we played our next game at home, there was like 10,000 people there. And it was like a disaster. So, and after that, I signed the contract. But coming back, yeah, to be honest, when I went to play for Brand, the training was actually more advanced than what we were doing at West Ham. We trained mornings, we were doing the warm downs, the heart monitors. It was actually advanced because at that time the English game was a little bit in the past. You know, we joke about Billy Bonds and all that, but it worked to an extent that we fell behind as a country in God's training. So. But what it did, it kept me ticking over because we had 12 weeks free in the summer. Yeah. And of course, what we were doing, drinking, we weren't looking after ourselves. So I was over there and I kept playing. And when I came back, I felt really sharp. So it was a really good thing for me that I did. And the fact is, in '94, the World Cup, I didn't go there. And that was where I came back to West Ham after I got Player of the Year. And I wasn't. That was my last season. I didn't have a good season. I got injured, and I always think that part of it was because I didn't carry on that summer loan period. So for me, it was a good experience. Yeah.
But Trev, you're saying advanced. Now they're saying players need the breaks. You know, the sports scientists today
in the winter
can actually determine when a player has played too much and that he needs a week off. So back then, when you're saying you didn't even have a break and it was advanced, don't you think that's contradictory to what happens today when the same players need to rest as much as they need to train? You saying you felt so much fitter when you didn't have that break.
I mean, it's different. I mean, we could get into sports scientists. I mean, sports scientists make lots of money. I don't know. I mean, they probably run quicker. Further now, they're fitter than we were then, but I honestly believe there's more injuries nowadays, and I don't believe
more non-contact injuries, Trev. That's what I don't get. The sports scientists today are not accountable for all these injuries that are non-contact injuries. So obviously they must be doing something wrong.
Yeah, I mean they make a lot of money, sports scientists, and so I mean I think. Big Sam Allardyce, all those old fashions, was one of the first person to get all this in to measure this. But it makes you wonder. They could take a blood sample and decide whether you're fit or not to play. I mean, we knew ourselves, Bish. We knew when we got what we used to call the jelly legs or whatever. We often got the jelly legs.
Yeah.
You know yourself whether you're right to play or not. Okay. We could lie. I often lied. I know there was many times when my knee wasn't right, and that was my falling at West Ham was I came back too early after an injury because I didn't want other people to score, and I didn't play well for a couple of games, and that was sort of caused the end of my career. So, but yeah, like you say, the rest, I don't know. I think there's too much made of it, all about they've got to have so much pre-season and all this, and with the corona now, they're getting a sort of a rest now, and I can't understand why they wanted a winter break, and Klopp wanted a winter break. He was, and after the winter break, Liverpool were not as good as what they were before it. That might be just irrelative, but basically, I think that if we play 2 games a week, 3 games a week, I just think there's too much made of it nowadays. That you need this rest, you need this, you're playing too many games. I think it can be a mental thing as well, where players believe they can't do it. I mean, it's just like it's just a game of football, and it's a tough adrenaline gets you through. But I don't go along with all this sports scientist thing. I'm not keen on it at all.
No, Mike. There's a lot of stuff with all the rotation and all that. Remember, if a manager said to me, because we were at the changeover sort of thing at that time, if a manager said, "I'm going to rest you," he was more or less cowarding out to say, "I'm leaving you out," and that's how we took it. You wasn't resting me, you were leaving me out, and you don't have the balls to say. It sort of gave the manager an excuse. And now they've gone from, okay, we have squads of 20 players and we rotate, and they've made a mockery of the League Cup and of the FA Cup now, and because of how big the Premier League and the Champions League has got, they're making a mockery of them, and they're playing kids, in fact, to say like the players need their rest right now. I don't agree with that. It's like you couldn't wait to play your next game. Somebody said to me the other day, "Oh, they're going to have to play 3 games a week." I said, "Well, didn't we play Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, or Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday?" That's more or less 3 games a week. Yeah. And it's like now the fans have bought into what has been drummed into the players, for them to believe it themselves also, that, I can't play another game, It's all about today, what are my stats? Like, do you think the game has got so tough, Trev? Because, I know you do your punditry now in Norway, and I've actually been over and did the show with you, and I must have been absolutely shite because I've never been invited back. But apart from that, you're seeing it every week from a perspective of you more or less have to and do your research. Now, is it that the passing backwards and sideways and 28 passes at the back before, has the game become that physical? I don't see it, because now I'm fast forwarding games because I don't want to watch all the bullshit. And people can talk all they want, saying footballers today are better athletes. Are they really? When I don't believe they're running any further than we ran. I don't believe now, just because it's monitored, that they're running further than we run. And if you are, what is actually the running that you're doing that is important? Are you getting counted on your mileage clock when you're jogging about the back, passing it 5 yards backwards and sideways?
Yeah.
That's what gets me.
I completely agree with that. I don't understand now centre-backs are running so much. Because they're just, a lot of it's about positioning. It's almost like, I feel like some players are running just to get the mileage up for the stats, and also with the passing, like you say. Okay, Van Dijk is brilliant, but a lot of them passes and he's a fantastic player, but a lot of them stats he's just passing simple balls around at the back. And
yeah,
I honestly feel that the Premier League's in a delicate position now. That it's been fantastic. The Premier League, that's what it is. It's the biggest in the world, really. Gets the most money in the world. But I think it's in a precarious position now where it could just lose a little bit, because what made it great was that blood and thunder, a little bit of tackles and everything. And I just feel now it's getting a little bit too much false. There's too much cheating. You got VAR coming, everything. Players are not honest as they used to be. You've got a lot of, when you say they weren't fitter, you got a lot of athletes. You got a lot of players nowadays that got fantastic bodies and athletes, but they can't actually cross the ball. They can't, they can flick it and and they can do the toilet roll trick or whatever it is. Now we've got Corona, they can do anything. But put them on the pitch and ask them to ping a ball 40 yards, they can't do it. They can't bend the ball in. So the game's changed a lot, and I think, I'll be honest, I think the Premier League now is it's peaked for me. It's in a dangerous position where they could lose a lot of audience because it can get boring. Like say, so much possession at the back, so much passing around. You can't make a tackle anymore. I mean, all this, when you say he went in with too much force, it's a ridiculous rule for me. You know, if the ball's there and you're running at full speed, you're allowed to tackle. How can you go in with too much force? How can you go in for too much force? What rule's that?
Yeah, I don't get it.
I mean, the problem is they're too worried about the stats and not worried enough about the technique, you know? So it's like if someone makes 10 passes a game, like who knows whether those passes were forward or backwards or under pressure or not under pressure. Like, you know, it's a weird thing to just rely on stats. Like if you just go on stats. But it's
a lot of it's coincidence, because you see goalkeepers, he's made 80% of the saves, but you know, like I say, a lot of them are easy. A lot
exactly.
Of them are sort of a back pass, so it is a bit false. And I know in America they love the stats and that, but I think they can be a little bit too false.
It's lazy because it's all we want to do is rely on stats, whatever it is. It's just lazy, you know, because numbers.
I think that's into the players' minds, though. I don't think they go
100%.
I don't think they go out now just thinking I'm going to play a football match and I want to win. They're going out thinking about themselves, and you can see that in everything that they do. How do I look? You know, what's my run-up routine for a free kick or whatever?
Yeah, well, you've got like Neymar and Ronaldo and Bale and all that bullshit. It's like it's for the cameras.
Been a massive influence on the way the game's gone.
Yeah.
They've been a massive influence on the youngsters, and it's affected. It's been drilled into the new generation of supporters, and even managers now, even old school managers are buying into the new game, and every time the ball hits your hand, it's a penalty. Every time someone goes down, it's a free kick, even though they don't see it from the position that they're in on the touchline. You've got to realise there's hundreds of cameras out there, right? So whatever it is, it should be found out that that's what it is.
Well, that's what VAR should be taken care of, but it's not. You know, it's not taking care of what it should be taking care of.
No. Well, it's an absolute nightmare. Part of the greatest thing about football is the support. It's all about the supporters, not the players so much. And the supporters love to go and talk about things after. And like now, VAR is trying to make the game perfect, and the game will never be perfect, and
it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And there's always be grey areas, always. And I always say this on TV: the goal. What was the goal? The goal when the Everton goal last minute was disallowed against Manchester United. You know, for me it was farcical.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Farcical. Yeah.
How people can't see common sense, and I've actually
it was Sigurdsson offside, wasn't it?
Pulled his leg out the way.
Yeah. That was the whole issue.
I've actually been to the VAR centre, and it's a little room with TVs, 3 people there. And the first thing I said, I went in there. I said to them, "Why haven't you got a football player here?" They said, "Well, because they haven't got."
And you was there.
No, but you know.
Yeah, and they said the same thing.
Player? Because they haven't got a referee's badge. He said, "Yeah, but you need that third person. You need that third person to." And my examples, you know, that goal against United where the keeper said he couldn't see the ball. Of course, he could see the ball because he was actually moving to get the ball.
It was ridiculous.
So
it's line of sight.
Yeah. So things like that are so basically wrong. It is unbelievable. So, and also I think the players they try to cheat too much, even now. When they know they're on
100%.
camera and they appeal for things that are not wrong, are they stupid or because the camera's going to say it anyway? So I think we're killing the game a little bit. We're trying to get too sophisticated, and that's not what the English Premier League's about.
100%.
There's so many players that are faking things, you know, and it's so embarrassing because
100%.
They're on the. Okay, I used to cheat. I'll be honest, I was a cheat. When I say cheat, you know,
In football?
Did you cheat on me? Did you cheat on me?
Yeah, I was going to say in football.
I wouldn't say I was a diver, but I conceived that if I knew someone was going to stick his leg out, I'd sort of delay.
I hate that.
Rub
I
it.
hate that. I hate that. I hate that more than anything.
I just think at that time you see someone rolling around, he doesn't get a free kick, and then in 10 seconds he's up running again. It's like,
Suarez, yeah.
There's many players do it, and I just that needles me a little bit. So
Yeah.
And I think what the point is that the supporters see it, and if it carries on, they're
100%.
gonna lose faith. They're gonna lose faith because they're not stupid. The supporters.
You got
They don't
100
wanna see that, you know what I mean?
cameras around you. That's why.
Yeah.
It's.
Yeah, that gets me as much as.
I mean, you look at people like Suarez. He'll go down crying like he just been shot, and then if he sees the build up in the play and he sees Messi has the ball, he'll jump up, and then Messi will end up squaring the ball to him, and he'll go and score, and then he'll go and kiss his 3 fingers and act like he just did the fucking world justice, you know?
Yeah. The biggest one for me was the Liverpool game when he kicked Robertson. And if you watch it, he just kicked him for no reason.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
And then Wijnaldum comes on and scores 2 goals, so it sort of it was brilliant that it worked out, that it sort of helped them win the game. But the fact afterwards he was trying to say to Robertson, "I'm sorry, I was like stumbling into you." It's just, you know, I mean, really. The whole world's just seen what you do.
Bullshit. Yeah.
The whole world is just
Full
seeing
of
what you're
shit.
seeing.
So we've got some more questions, Trev. We want to ask you about Ian. We know what he's like on a night out. We know what he's like as a teammate in the dressing room. What was he like on trips when you were taking trips? Like, you got any stories that spring to mind?
Yeah, I mean, I remember we travelled away a couple of times, and many times. I was his roommate. I remember once he got me to, I think it was his idea. We used to go for a meal on the Friday and have a nice meal at a Posh Hotel. I remember it was at the big table, and I think this is your idea, Bish. That
I'm not jumping in just yet. Should you tell me what it was?
There was a big white sheet over the table, whatever. So, and we're all in the tracksuits and white trainers. So, he's given me like a bowl of ketchup. So I've sneaked under the table. Now I'm under the table where there's about 20 players and the staff there.
He was looking up people's trouser legs.
Yeah, it
So
sounds
I've put a bit of ketchup on everybody's training shoes. And then I've sneaked back up again, and it's all kicked off after, because I think Johan Bohr was there and he was pissed off. People were pissed off, and at the same time, Bish used to get the key when we used to room together. He's like, if one of the ladies, clean ladies, I've lost my key, can you let me in? We'd get into somebody else's room. I think once it was Tim Breaker, and so and then a little balcony. So we've taken all the furniture out of the room in the balcony and put it into the bathroom, whatever. So when they've come back to the hotel room, there's actually nothing in the room, whatever. There were little breaks. I think that actually we damaged one of the closets, and it cost about 12.
The wardrobe, yeah. The famous wardrobe, yeah. We couldn't get it into the bathroom. What it was, Trevor had got inside the bathroom. And the wardrobe, it was like a freestanding wardrobe. So we've had to actually tilt it to try and get in, because it was bigger than the doorway.
Yeah.
And Trev was actually in the bathroom pulling it in. when I was pushing it, he was pulling it. I wasn't fucking stupid, by the way. I wasn't going to be the one getting inside. So the wardrobe got wedged in the doorway. And now he's fucking stuck inside the bathroom. He's obviously going to get caught, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I actually left. I left, and I think what he did was he fucking kicked and pushed the wardrobe so much that it just collapsed in on itself for him to escape, so he didn't get caught. And I think we had a team meeting the next day about... Was it Billy still there, I think? Trev, was Billy there?
Yeah,
Somebody needs to own up and pay for the wardrobe. Man, I forgot about that, actually. I forgot.
Yeah,
you know what it is?
That's
You
the
all
one
need to
story
get
I haven't
together.
heard.
We all need to get together and sit in the room and record it all.
I can remember once as well when the phone rang. Because we used to, if it was night game, we used to drive in the morning and have something to eat, and we used to have a sleep. I think maybe it was Bristol City away, and like the phones rang, and they're all. Can you remember they're all on the bus, and we've actually missed the pre-match meal. We're still sleeping, and they're all on the bus waiting for us. We've been sitting there 10 minutes. The Sunday phone, we're still asleep. Like, can you remember that one?
You wonder why there was gay rumours though. Fucking hell.
But as a room partner, he was brilliant because he told me the stories. He got me to sleep, and we used to like to sleep.
He got me to sleep.
Yeah, I used to rub his feet.
He did that. He told me stories. He knows I was frightened in the dark or whatever. So he was a top room partner. I mean, otherwise I had to sleep with Julian Dix, and he was like waking up at like 7 in the morning doing everything. So
He went from an arse to Dick.
So, before we get to the big reveal, because that's what we've all been waiting for, you know, we've got the cliffhanger, whether you and Ian were gay lovers, because that's what we're all waiting for at the end of the episode, right?
If we're related to you or not.
Yeah. We need to know if we're your children. But, like, I need to ask one thing before we close it out. What's one thing that you do that people don't really know about you that you wanna get out there?
well, I mean, I've got quite a lot of things, but not that one to get out there. But I mean, I'm sitting here. And I've got a Batman statue.
A statue?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Batman.
Of DC? I'm a big fan of DC, so why Batman?
Well, he looks after me when it's dark. He's there for me.
Yeah.
He likes
the
a
dark-
man in uniform.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah, he is literally the Dark Knight, so.
Other things, no, I've got many like of these suspicious things, like, you know, if I put one shoe on, I have to put the other shoe on. I can only tie the lace on one shoe.
What?
Wait a minute.
If you put on one shoe,
I've got to put the other shoe on.
No one's putting on one shoe and not the
I can't
other.
put one shoe on and tie it, and then the other one. I have to put both shoes on and tie it. I've got many of these things that are very like suspicious, and if I'm wearing black socks,
Superstitions.
Rituals.
yeah, many of those that drives me crazy. You know,
Trevor, I completely agree with
Trev,
you.
you still managing the shelters and stuff like that?
Yeah, still going there. Yeah.
I know.
Halfway houses and that.
Yeah. How's that going? Is it everything?
Well, we never say it's going well, and then we have to touch wood because then.
Yeah.
Because he's rusty nuts.
Been at 18, 19 years, so it's quite funny because we've got the corona now, and so I'm trying to talk to them about it. And they don't give a damn. They come to me, I walk into them, how's the football going? I went, they haven't been playing football for 5 weeks. Do you know what I mean? They don't know. Do you know what I mean? I'm saying wash your hands, but wash your hands, why?
Yeah.
And they're not. But the lucky thing is that not one drug addict in Bergen has actually got corona. So, and I've got a theory. Maybe they've got a good immune system because they're always cut, and if they did get it, they wouldn't know because, you know, they're up and down. So if they were ill, they'd be there. But it's a job I love. They're really good people. They're messed up because they're taking drugs, but I love my job and looking after them. And it's. I mean, I'm just a glorified cleaner, really. I just go around cleaning after them and whatever, and talking to them. But I can't cure them. Unfortunately, I can't cure them. But I have saved a few lives. I've saved quite a few overdoses, and so I don't know why I end up doing this, but it's something I enjoy, and it gives me some job satisfaction. So it's a tough game, but I enjoy it.
Yeah,
I mean,
All right, mate. Well. Anyway, what I wanted to ask you before we go was, are you dyeing your hair and getting Botox?
Yeah, I've done Botox a few times in the pan. Yeah, I like that. So,
In your fingers?
in my forehead.
Yeah,
in my forehead.
right.
So, yeah, I mean, why not? You know, I got a lot of big wrinkles there, so I think you should try it, Bish. I think it.
No, he definitely fucking
when you
needs
say
it.
why
if
not?
anything. Yeah, Trevor. What's your stance on Aguero? And do you think he is a lone striker? Do you think he needs someone like you? Like I know Dzeko tried to fill the part where it was like bringing down like a type of Giroud, you know, where it was bringing down a layoff, but he never actually fulfilled that.
My take on that is that he plays in such a great side that, you know, if I'd ever got the chance of playing for a big team, I would have scored a lot more goals, because people don't realise that, you know, when someone scores like 10 goals for Sheffield United or 10 goals for Wolves or 50 goals, you know, that's the same as scoring 30 goals for Liverpool, because
100%.
the chances create.
100%.
Wait a minute. Are you
Chances
trying
great.
to say your service wasn't good enough?
No, because it was.
Yes, he is.
I did score 20 goals. You know, I was the last person to score 20 goals in league goals in a season for West Ham. Just so throw that in. So, but I got the service. No striker's going to score goals. And like when the top strikers are lucky enough, and trust me, Aguero. I remember his debut, and I was doing that on TV, and I just said he lit the place up. The guy's quality, but he's lucky because he's playing the team like Manchester City. I mean, we don't talk about Sterling, but how many goals has Sterling scored when he's just tapped them into the far post? Okay, he's timing his runs.
All
because
of his fucking goals.
They play such amazing football, so I don't think Aguero needs anybody. No, I think De Bruyne is delivering his service.
100%.
But they're
David
always
Silva.
going to create chances, and he's a quality finisher. So my answer to that is I don't think he actually needs anybody. I think they're just good as they are. I think they've had a little bit of a strange season, Man City. It's not gone quite right for them. But I don't think Manchester City have a problem. You see the amount of goals they score. That is not a problem for Man City. I tried to analyse the games this season, and I looked at the games that have not won. And by saying that, there's a few draws and a few losses. And they dominated the stats on
100%.
everyone.
100%.
And if you look at corner stats, possession, apart from the Wolves game when they went down to 10 men quite early.
What was it,
That's
John
That's
Stoner?
the only game they've been outplayed. If you look at the stats, every single game they drew or lost, and even the Liverpool game, to be fair, when they lost to Liverpool, they were probably the better side, had the better chances. So for me, it's just been one of them seasons, a bit coincidence, not things have gone right.
Yeah, VAR definitely went against them.
And you see the mistakes they made at the back. I mean, Otamendi's made mistakes, Stones have made some, the goalkeepers made the odd mistake. They made some really basic mistakes as well that cost them the game. So just been one of them seasons for Man City, but they're still such a quality side. But Aguero's getting older.
Agree.
Yeah.
But I think when you look at it, they went to Real Madrid with no centre forward and won.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
What was it?
they've left themselves in a position where
2-1.
In a great position.
2-1 comfortably though.
Yeah, they won.
At the
I
Bernabeu?
actually doubted with not playing Aguero.
Yeah, I know. We all did.
Well,
we all did.
We spoke about this, didn't we? He had Jay-Z's play on the left wing defensively.
Yeah.
But it worked.
Yeah.
With no centre forward. So I wouldn't second guess Pep in what he's doing anyway.
No.
You know, like you say, I think goals for speak for themselves over the last few years anyway. So
yeah,
you know, to actually look for another centre forward and take something away from somewhere else, which is what you'll do. I don't think they need that.
I agree.
And even looking back, I did like Dzeko. I did like what he did when he was there.
I did. I loved him.
You know, but I don't
love
think
him
they
for Roma.
need that as much anymore.
Yeah. Well,
I think the goal threat is fantastic. And the goal threat, the problem is there, the defence, to be fair. I mean,
it is defence.
After Company went, and they've not really. I thought Otamendi had a good season the previous season, but he looks. Stones sort of lacks a bit of confidence. Kyle Walker's not. So, in general, defensively, and of course.
Yeah. They have the offensive situation sorted out, but not the.
That's where the issues are. That's definitely where the issues are at the back, because having to play Fernandinho there and him being the best defender they had.
Yeah.
To be fair,
I mean, you look.
the midfield player being your best defender.
You look.
As much as Rodri, for me, I'm not convinced yet. He's a nice player and he's comfortable. This is coming back to Bish. This annoys me so much. There's so many defensive midfield players now that just can't actually pass the ball. They do the job. They do it well, but
Hey, Trevor, I hold back so fucking much, but and I hate to say it, but I'll never praise my dad, but
he would have done a good job back then.
Yeah, I know what he's capable of, and I mean I know what good football is, So yeah, I look at people like Xabi Alonso, and I think he. I mean, I hate to say it, Dad. Sorry, but I hate to compliment you, but he couldn't lace your boots. So
anyway,
can we cut that out?
Listen, Trev. You talk about the service you used to get, so we have to end the podcast with the same question.
It wasn't that type of service.
The nail biter.
So what's up with that cliffhanger? What's up with that cliffhanger,
Are we your
Trev?
sons or are we not?
Yeah.
You want the truth?
We want the truth.
Did I get your mustache? Is it?
You want the truth about me and your dad?
Yeah.
I'd like the mystery to continue, but
Yeah.
But you promised.
I promise you, so I'm going to tell you the truth.
You can continue the mystery.
There was one night in Bournemouth when we'd been drinking a lot, and we had a lovely hotel room, and I was lying in bed naked, and your dad did try to mount me. But you know what? I farted. I farted.
He just thought
And
you were
that's why you got off,
one of those horses in the New Forest. That's what he thought it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't mating season, according to him.
Just a joke, but I remember he tried to mount me once, and nothing came up. Nothing came of it.
Other than us, Trevor. So
Well, hopefully he gave you the best service of your life. So.
yeah.
But the best thing was when he did come to TV in Norway, and he did a great job. We had a good time, and he was brilliant. And I hope he can come back. That we actually talked about the gay thing. And
I remember. Yeah.
When they said about a gay, first thing Bish said was, "Yeah, if I was gay, I wouldn't have chose him."
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, but then
it was that stash.
Yeah, it was also a weird haircut he had going on. Do you remember that? I watched that video the other day.
No, we've seen everything. That's the thing.
That's a good point, though. But Trev, we appreciate you so much for coming on 5 pints in.
Yeah.
We hope you're 10, 15 pints in
at this point
by now.
And he might be your dad. You don't know.
Yeah, so that's really what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah. We're literally trying to figure out we're in your will or not.
Yeah. Do we have two dads, one dad? Who knows?
Yeah, we love you, Trevor. Like,
we love you, Trev. We love you like a dad.
we love you like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're an uncle to us.
Cheers, son.
Yeah, you're an uncle to us, and it's lovely being around you.
Jordy, you said you wouldn't finish this one like you finished last one. Now I feel even worse.
You should. You should.
I just lost 2 children.
Well, who knows? It could have been that way for the last 27 years. So, guys, thank you, Trev. Thank you so much for coming on, man. Anyone who's listening out there, make sure you check us out on Facebook, Instagram, all that shit. Make sure you keep digging into this story that Trev and Ian are pulling along, because who knows what the true story is, because we still didn't figure it out.
I need a DNA test, honestly, dude.
Yeah, so Trev, we love you, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Cheers, man. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a blast. It's great to talk to you guys.
Love you, Trev.
Love you
Cheers,
guys.
mate.
All right,
Cheers,
guys. Thanks for listening.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.